I'm here today because one of my students won the poetry competition for our school. So I'm here with one of my 7th graders. I actually just received a piece of mail in my mailbox at school from Aaron Williams, I believe his name is, inviting us to join in the competition. So as a first-year teacher, I was kind of looking for anything to do, any new ideas and anything that sounded fun and interesting for my kids. So signed up for it, and here I am. It was an awesome experience. It was really cool. We spent some time working with poetry just with my 7th graders and talked about different forms of poetry, different kinds, and I was really just trying to encourage them to find their own voice and to find a type of poetry that appealed to them. And I think it was a really cool age to do it with, because it's the age when they want to pretend like they're super cool, but then they all got really excited about writing poetry. So it really did help them to find their voice and to find their place. So some of the things that were under the surface, some things that they don't really talk about, there are lots of kids who have some rough home lives and are dealing with just a lot of emotional stuff, and it's stuff that they won't talk about, but in poetry, a lot of them were actually able to express those emotions, and so there was a lot of anger that came out and a lot of sadness that came out, but also a lot of excitedness and just some emotions that they're not always willing to share, but poetry really gave them an outlet to express some of those emotions. Part of it is some of the poetry that we read. We read a lot of poetry that was sometimes really emotional and can be really intense, and letting them know that that's okay to feel that way. And we just talked about how poetry is about expressing emotion and expressing feeling. And I think 7th graders who might feel so often in school that it's not okay to talk about those emotions and you have to suppress those and do what you're told to do, to be given the opportunity to say, yes, tell me everything, tell me any kind of emotion you're feeling, I think they really appreciated that. She was able to really express some things about herself. I felt like I learned a lot about her through writing, or through the process of her writing the poetry and through me reading it. It just really helped her to find, I was actually just talking with another teacher about this today, it helped her find her niche, I think, and helped her find her voice. And so for her to get to experience this is a moment for her in the spotlight that she normally doesn't get. And that's one thing that I think is so cool about this competition is sometimes my top academic kids were not the ones writing the best poetry. They didn't know how to get their emotion in. It was sometimes those kids who don't necessarily do as well in school, but have a lot of emotion and a lot of stuff to say, and those were the ones who really shone through this experience. This is definitely an experience worth putting into schools, partly because it's an incredible creative outlet, and that's something that I think a lot of students don't get in schools all the time. It's about the tests and about science and math and reading, and to give them an opportunity to really show their creativity and to show a side of them that sometimes they don't always get to show in school. It was also a great experience. They loved reading each other's poetry, so it brought a lot of camaraderie. I loved getting to show off their poetry to the other teachers in the school and the other students, and it was just an awesome experience, and the students loved it. And anytime you can get them excited about something, it's something worth doing. I'm definitely going to do this again next year.